Hello, everyone. It's awesome to see you guys. Yeah, we may be having a bit of an issue with recording, but I'm so excited to be here and I'm so glad you all joined in. So we're going to continue with our lesson today. I am Sheena Cooney and I will be your teacher for today. Okay, we are going to do our reading and viewing today, which is very similar to a comprehension. Okay, so today we will read a story. It is an autobiography, and an autobiography is non-fiction. Okay, so it is not a true story. All right. Our text is going to be taken from Nelson Mandela's autobiography. Now, I'm sure that you all know who Nelson Mandela is. Okay, so he wrote his life story, and this little text we're going to read is actually taken from his life story. All right. Okay, so it is a piece about his childhood. So some of you will actually might be familiar with some of the things he does and activities, and you can probably relate to it. So that is why we're going to, I chose this piece. I thought it would be a nice one, and we're going to practice our reading. Okay, so the first thing I like to do is I like to show you pictures. Okay, so you can get an idea and try and guess what the story is about. Okay, so our first, we're going to look at the pictures and you're going to tell me what you see. Okay, so there's our first picture. That is number 1. Okay. So what do you see with number 1? And you can actually make a little note of what you see. This is number 2. Okay, so yes, number 1 is a boy. He's kneeling. I love the description I'm getting. Very good. Look, someone thinks he's planting someone. Okay, what do you think the weather's like? What do you think the weather is like where he is? I mean, look at what he's wearing. Look at the surroundings. It's sunny. Yes, it's sunny and it's summer. Very good. It's hot. How do you know? How do you know it's hot? Very good. He's wearing a sleeveless shirt. That's awesome. Okay, and how else? You're doing well, guys. He's wearing shorts. Excellent. He's wearing shorts and a sleeveless shirt. So you only usually wear that when you are hot. And someone mentioned there that looks like the sun is lowering, like it's afternoon time because of the background. Very good. Very good observation. Okay, so the second one, number 2, is kids playing. All right, someone said this kids playing. Who can tell me what they are playing? Yes, they are jumping. 2 boys are jumping. Is it 2 boys or is it 2 girls, do you think? Or is it a girl and a boy? Who do you think? Okay, so yes, that's what I wanted to hear. They are playing on the trampoline. Excellent. They are playing on the trampoline. Someone said they think it's a girl or boy. Okay, now the picture isn't the best picture. So if we're not too sure if it's a girl or boy, but I like your observations. They're very good. Okay, so I'm going to move on to picture number 3. What do you see? All right. Now that's a tricky one because it's not very clear. So you kind of got to use your imagination with that one. Okay. Someone also mentioned for picture number 2 that they think it's 2 girls. I also thought it was 2 girls because I kind of see it like looking at the hair, but For number 3, we can definitely see it's a girl and a boy and the hands are touching. Okay, but there looks like there's movement. You see the way the picture is drawn. So I don't think they actually, it looks like they're holding hands, but not quite. What do you think they might be doing? Yes, well done, Raiden. A boy and girl dancing. They look like they're dancing. It also looks like something else though. What else do we do if we're that young and we don't dance? What do? We play. You know, when you do this with your hands, girls, you remember that game? Okay, so what do you think? What do you think they do? Yes, Tinkin, they are and praise. They're playing Ring Rosies, or they're playing a game. Excellent. Okay, so because they're so young, I wouldn't think they're really dancing unless you guys like to dance. I don't know, but it does look like a game because if you look at the girl, her hand is touching her knee. So that is why I thought it might be a game. Okay, but it doesn't tell us. So we're using our imaginations. All right, let's go to the next one. You guys are doing very well. Thank you. Your participation is excellent. Number 4. What do we have there? It's a bit different than the other ones. Okay, there's also, is it a girl? Is it a boy? Is it 2 boys? Is it 2 girls? What do you think they're doing? Very good. Very good. You guys are on the ball, eh? That is a girl walking and a boy running. He's running. Okay, it could be running after a girl or it could be running behind the girl. We'll use our imagination for that one. Very good. Nice job, guys. Okay, let's, number 5. What do you think is happening there? That's a bit different than our previous picture. Fighting, 2 boys fighting. How do you know they're fighting? What gives it away? What gives it away that they're fighting? Looks like they're hitting. His face, Sichle. Yes, his face. Good, Pearl. They're punching. Hanai, very good. Someone said they're mad. Wow, we got awesome class today. You're on the ball. Yes, they look like they're fighting because of the face is all angry and you can see their hands are grabbing each other's clothing. Okay, so it looks like they're fighting there. So now we're going to quickly go through what you guys suggested, and I think you're pretty good. So we'll probably fly through this. There's our little boy. So I put a few suggestions and you guys did the same. Little boy playing with string and a round object. I can't quite see what he's playing with. Okay, he is outside, which you guys said. You also, grade 5s, were brilliant. You mentioned what you saw in the background. Okay, so we can see grass and mountains. I also see a little bit of blue there, so maybe there's water. It is a warm, hot day. He's wearing shorts and a vest. So number 2, 2 children, maybe they're girls, jumping on the trampoline. They look happy because they're smiling. Okay, we didn't see that one, but you can observe things like that. I mentioned that. How are they looking? How are they feeling? It is a warm day. You're all right because they are wearing shorts and t-shirt. Okay, for number 3, we have the one where we thought there were two children. Yes, they are children, possibly friends, a girl and a boy. And they look like they're dancing and laughing, but they could also be playing a game. Okay. They are happy because they're smiling. I see a couple of smiles there, guys. It's so awesome. It's nice to have some smiley faces today. I've been missing that. I look forward to seeing you every day for those smiles. Okay, number 4, beautiful smile, Naledi. Sumaya, what we have there is 2 children, a girl and a boy. And the boy is running, like you said. The girl is walking, like you said. Well done. Number 5. Ooh, I don't know why. This picture really was drawn so Well, you can absolutely see that they are not happy. Two children, possibly two boys. They look like they're biting. The one has an angry expression. Why can't you see the other one's face? Why can't we see the other one's face? It's okay if you've just joined. We haven't started our comprehension yet, so just bear with us. The one has an angry expression. Why can't we see the other one's expression? Can you? Very good, praise, because his back is turned. Sihle, you said it's covered. Very good. Well, good observation there. Okay, the other also has a fist in the air. Do you see that? All right, and they're both grabbing each other's shirt. Okay, so now we are going to read a section from Nelson Mandela's autobiography. Now, early in the lesson, I mentioned what an autobiography was. Who remembers, who was here early on, that can share with us what an autobiography is? If you don't know, it's fine. I'm going to go over it. Just want to see if we have any ideas. Send it in your chat. It's much easier for me to see. Okay, I won't always be able to get to you if you raise your hand. So rather send to me on the chat because I can read that. Okay. A story of a person's life. A book that a person wrote about themselves. Good. Non-fiction. Excellent. Excellent. A person's life. We're on track. His childhood. Very good. Very good. Now remember who the person is. Okay. But you're right, Tafika. It is a short summary of someone sharing their personal life. And it is real. Yes, it is real, Neo. Pearl, a human's background. Very good. Okay. So you, obviously grade 5s, you are on track. You certainly know where we are today. So he describes his childhood. Now I'm going to read. I know that listening to my squeaky voice might be a bit exhausting, but you can read along with me as well. Then we won't feel so alone. Even if you are muted, you can still read along because I can still see you. Okay, so pay attention to the details. They are very important. Okay, when I was 5, okay, let me start that again because Miss Cooney left out a word. So I need to start again. When I was about 5, I learned how to knock birds out of the sky with a slingshot, to gather wild honey and fruits and edible roots, to drink warm, sweet milk straight from the udder of a cow, to swim in clear, cold streams, and to catch fish with twine and sharpened bits of wire. Now, whenever you see a word in bold, that means we're going to want to know if you know what it is. And if you don't know what it is, I will tell you. Okay. But those are usually words that if we're in the classroom, we usually look it up in the dictionary. Okay, so write them down if you can. All right. Okay, who knows what that is? I put 2 pictures there, and it is in the story, the object. Who can tell me what those are? So send me a text, not a text, a chat, send in the chat. Okay, it's easier for me to have a look. Yes, a slingshot. A slingshot. Well done. I am sure you guys have played with a slingshot. Maybe even made your own. If you haven't, it's something you can do this holiday. You can make a sling, but please do not shoot at any windows. Okay? I don't want you getting into trouble. Don't tell your mommy I said you had to shoot inside. I didn't say that. Okay. All right. I don't want to get into trouble. All right. So what is that? If you had to look at the story, what do we have there? Okay, look carefully at the picture. Look. Honey. Yes. But what kind of honey? Because now someone mentioned, yes, there's a bee there. So if there's a bee on the honey pot, what kind of honey is it mentioning in the story specifically? It doesn't just say honey. So send it to me in your chat. Yes, honey does come from a bee, but Nelson Mandela said it's not the honey that you buy from the shop, the honey that he ate. Noxolo, am I saying your name right? I hope so. Yes, it is wild honey. Wild honey. Okay, let's have a look at the next picture. That's an interesting one. Some of you will know what that is because you eat it. Some of you don't eat it. Who knows what that is? That's an interesting one. Turn and ask your mommy or your daddy, or ask someone who's near you if you don't know. Very good, Tafika and Kagiso and Gotsolo and Hanai. It is a sweet potato. Now, in the story, Nelson Mandela talks about it, but he doesn't call it a sweet potato. What does he refer to it as? Look by honey, in the sentence of honey. Together, wild honey. Yes, Ichle. Praise. Well done. Edible roots. Sweet potato is a root vegetable. Okay? So you can dig it up in the ground and you can eat it. Okay. There's another root vegetable. What's that? Edible root vegetable. What do we have there? Absolutely right. It is a carrot. What did they say? Eat your carrots and you can see better. Good. So he ate his carrots. Now we have a picture of some boys somewhere. Now it's the only picture I could find because I don't have one of Mandela actually there. So in his story, a lot of you have mentioned, and it's a good observation, that it's a river. But remember, a river is wide and bigger and longer than this little picture. Okay, so according to the text that we've read, where is it? Look at the words in the text box. Yes, absolutely, well done. It's a stream. It's a cold stream. And also remember, look at the water, it's very clear. Now streams generally have nice clear water because the water's coming from deep inside the rock, out of the mountain. So, and it gets filtered as it goes over all the rocks. So it's nice and clean and it's cold. It's nice and cold. Okay, what do we have there? What is happening there? Okay, I'm just reading the text. I want to give a few of you a chance to send me an answer. Okay, so we got cow, milking a cow, udder of a cow. All right. Okay, so very good. It is a cow being milked. And that is what Nelson Mandela means when he said he drank sweet milk straight from a cow. Okay, so in other words, it didn't go to a factory and it didn't go into bottles. It went into the bucket and they could drink it straight away. Okay, so now there is something else that he did. Who knows what image this is? Someone said twine. And who knows what twine actually is? I know some of you are saying wool, but it's not quite wool. There we go. It is string. Very good. String is a bit coarser than wool. It's not as soft. And you can't really knit with it. Wool is a bit softer and easier to maneuver. So its string is quite strong as well. Now he used string, and what else did he use? He used something else. Okay, what do we have? Wire. Yes. Okay, so who can tell me, that was reading along so nicely, what he used the string and the twine for? What did he use them for? What did he do with them? Okay, send it to me in the chat. It's a lot easier for me to see. Okay, I've got quite a few answers and they're all the same. Well done. He did it to catch a fish. Do you think he ate the fish? Yes, I also think he ate the fish. That sounds like a nice day to me that he had. Now, you see the book in the corner there? That is Nelson Mandela's autobiography, and this little story came from there. Okay. So what we have is the next part of the story that I'm going to read. You can read along with me. As boys, we played with toys we made ourselves. Nature was our playground. The hills above Gunu were dotted with large, smooth rocks, which we transformed into our own roller coaster. We sat on flat stones and slid down the faces of the face of the large rocks. We did this until our backsides were so sore we could hardly sit down. I learned to ride by sitting on top of weaned calves. After being thrown to the ground several times, one got the hang of it. Now, I'm interested to find out, if you look at the picture, you can see how they slide down the rocks, okay? I don't think it'd be very comfortable. But the one thing I do want to ask you, is there any words in there that you don't understand in the story, in this part of the text? Is there a word there or a few words that you're not sure about? Gunu is a place, okay? It is an area where he lived, okay? Any other words? What about transformed? What does transformed mean? Anybody know what transformed is? Weaned. Someone asked what weaned is. Good. I'm gonna go to that. Changed. Yes, transformed means changed. Well done. So they changed the rocks to use for their own roller coaster. Weaned. Who knows what weaned means? A weaned calves. Weaned calves. So calves, what I first figure out what calves are. Yes, transformed is changed. Well done, Dallas. Cow. A calf is a baby cow. Excellent. You guys are amazing. Excellent. So, but now it says weaned. So if a calf is weaned, what do you think? What do you think it? Who knows? Okay, no. All right, this is interesting. Now, I'm going to help you with this one. A calf that doesn't need his mommy's milk anymore, that eats grass, he is weaned. Okay, that means he's big enough to go and eat the grass. He doesn't need his mommy's milk anymore. That's what weaned means. Okay, so the next part of the story, I learned my lesson one day from an unruly donkey. Unruly, take note of that word. We had been taking turns climbing up and down its back, and when my chance came, I jumped on, and the donkey bolted into a nearby thorn bush. It bent its head. There's a little bit of a spelling error. Sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. It will be fixed. It bent its head trying to unseat me, which it did, but not before thorns had pricked and scratched my face, embarrassing me in front of my friends. I had lost face among my friends. Even though it was a donkey that unseated me, I learned not to humiliate another person, as it is to make him suffer an unnecessarily cruel fate. Even as a young boy of 6, I defeated my opponents without dishonoring them. Okay, so basically they decided they're going to go ride some donkeys, okay? And he jumped on the donkey and it bolted into a thorn bush. Now that sounds very painful to me. Okay, so it bent its head and it tried to unseat him, which means if you're seated, unseat means you're not seated anymore. And he did that, but not before he got scratched everywhere with these thorns. And that is very sore and very itchy. But he learned a lesson. So share with me, what lesson did he learn? He learned a lesson. What was the lesson, grade 5s? Okay. Anyone know what the lesson is? Come on, help me out here. Not to do to others, or it will happen to you. To never humiliate someone else. To not make fun of people. Very good. To not be rude, to not embarrass others, to not disrespect someone, and to not play with a donkey. That's a good one. Yeah, I don't think we should be playing with donkeys. Okay, it won't be, especially if they're wild. We don't want to do that, to not ride a donkey. That was a good one. Okay, so next part of the story, you can read with me. Okay. In the evening, I would return to my mother's kraal where she was preparing supper. Whereas my father once told stories of battles and brave Xhosa warriors, my mother would charm us with Xhosa legends and fables that came down from numberless generations. Like all Xhosa children, I gained knowledge mainly through looking at things. We were meant to learn through imitation, not through questions. My life was shaped by customs and ritual. Men followed the path laid out for them by their fathers. Women led the lives as their mothers had before them. Okay, so he's explaining how he grew up and how he learned things. As you can see, there's no mention of him going to school. Like we are at the moment, we're not able to go to school. So how do we learn? How did he learn? He learned from his father and from his mother in a certain way. Okay, so now we're going to go to our next page. Okay, what do you see there? I'm going to ask some questions about the text. It's just that I have to watch the time. So I hope you don't mind. I'm going to keep on reading and then we'll go back to the text afterwards. All right. So one day, George Mbekele, a friend of ours, paid a visit to my mother. Your son is a clever young fellow, he said. He should go to school, she told my father, who, despite or perhaps because of his own lack of education, immediately decided that his younger son would go to school. The schoolhouse was a single room on the other side of the hill of Qunu. I was 6 years old. And on the day before I was to begin, my father took me aside and told me that I must be dressed properly for school. Okay, so this is interesting. Until that time, I, like all the other boys in Qunu, had worn only a blanket, which would be wrapped around one shoulder and pinned at the waist. So can you imagine going to school with one piece of material, one piece of garment wrapped around you? Because that's all they played in, that's all they had, and they were quite comfortable with it. So, but his daddy said, no, you're not going to school like that. It's like you going to school in your pajamas. Would you be allowed to do that? Okay, only today. But normally you wouldn't be allowed to go in your PJs to school. Over here, this is the actual school room. You see the building where all the people are in front? That was his school room, his first school. And in the second picture, you see Mr. Mandela as an older man coming out of the house. That was his home. That was where he lived. All right. Let's look at the last paragraph. My father took a pair of his trousers and he cut them at the knee. He told me to put them on, which I did, and they were roughly the correct length, although the waist was far too large. My father then took a piece of string and tied the trousers at the waist. I must have been a comical sight, but I have never owned a suit I was prouder to wear than my father's cut-off pants. So because he never owned clothing or a suit or anything like that, he was quite happy and very proud to wear his dad's trousers. So now we're going to go through the text and pick up on a few things that we've learned. Right. Edible, we learned, can be eaten. You can write this down if you feel you need to make notes, okay? Twine is your rope or your string. Is anybody writing? I don't see anybody writing. Why are we not writing? Come, write your words down. Let me see. There we go. That's what I want to see. Awesome. Okay, so the next word is transformed, which means changed or altered. There we go. Well done, Faith. Nicely. Good, good. Good, Riakile. Good, good. Okay. The next word that we have is unruly, which is wild and uncontrollable. So unruly is wild, like the donkey. He was unruly. He was wild and uncontrollable. The next one is humiliate, which means to embarrass or shame somebody. Okay. I'll give you time to all write them down. So I won't change the page until you have that, okay? Okay. Good, good. I can see some of you are still busy. Now remember, we will have this on the website. So if you want to go back and look at it, you can do that. All right. So, and then obviously when you watch it again, you can pause wherever you need to pause. All right. So now we're going to look at some questions. This is the comprehension side of things. This is, did you actually understand what you were reading? Were you paying attention as we were reading and discussing it? Okay, so what were the 3 things Mandela did in the fields before he began to go to school? So there were 3 things that he did in the fields before he started to go to school. So shall I give you a clue? All right, so I'm going to go and give you a clue with a few of them. They don't have to be in the right order, okay? So look at the first clue. What was one of the things that he did? Good, slingshot, yes. So you're writing the words down, okay? You guys must write the words down. All right, these are your clues. Yeah, very good. Yes, 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 yes. Okay, so he used his slingshot to shoot birds. He collected wild honey, good. He ate fruit and wild roots. He hunted, that's also right. Edible roots, good, Pearl. Zosie, good, he looked for honey. Okay, now you see these pictures, they're just images and they're just words. Now we have to actually write our answer in a sentence because that's what comprehension is. You always answer in a full sentence, okay? So let's write a sentence. What were the 3 things Mandela did in the fields before he began to school? Before I show you my sentence, can you show me yours? If you can type it quickly, it'd be awesome. Okay, so catched fish to eat. He drank sweet milk out of a cow or from a cow. So just check your words there. Good, but it's some good sentences. Remember, always start your sentence with a capital letter. Okay, so here are a few of the ideas that you might actually have. Shoot birds with a slingshot. Collect wild honey, fruit, and edible roots. Go swimming in the stream. Fish with wire and twine. So any of those three things would be right. You don't remember, they didn't say write all of them. They only said write down 3 of them. So any 3 would be right. Okay. So you can give yourself a tick there if you got any of those 3 right. Our next question, was Mandela happy at Qunu? Do you think he was happy there? Tell me why. Why do you think he was happy there? Someone said no. Okay, why wasn't he happy? Someone said yes. Okay, I like that. Two different answers. Okay, now tell me why. I want to see some. Yes, because he lived a happy life. Because he made friends. Because he had fun things to do. I like this. Very nice answers. Very nice, because he had things to do, he went to school. Okay, so you have basically come up with a lot of good ideas. This is the actual paragraph that you can look in for some other answers as well. Now, for this paragraph, it's asking you if you think he was happy. So you don't have to take an exact sentence from the text. What you've been giving me now, the answers you've been giving me now are good. Okay, so let's write it in a sentence now. So one of the sentences I suggested was, yes, I think he was happy because nature was his playground. When you answer comprehension, very good. I see someone actually did that. You write the yes, then comma, and then you say the why. Okay. A lot of your answers are not wrong. They are right. So even if I don't have that answer, it doesn't mean it's wrong. I'm just giving you some suggestions. Okay. So yes, I think he was happy because he had friends and played every day. Yes, I think he was happy because he was free to play with his friends and he learned a lot of things. Now this I got a lot. So I'm glad to see you all noticed that. This one, let's see how much of you can remember the discussion with this one. What lesson did he learn when he was thrown off the donkey? So this is the paragraph in the story. So I'm going to let you look at it for a little bit and put together an idea of what lesson he learned when he was thrown off the donkey. What do you think he learned? And send it to me in your chat. I'm going to be reading your chats now to see. I know it's a bit different than school, but you guys are probably better than this than I am. Okay, to not embarrass others, good. To not be rude, very good. Never make your enemies look stupid, to not disrespect, to not be mean, to not be rude. Very good, not to never sit on a donkey. I don't know, that one always makes me smile. Right, so grade 5, do you think that you can learn something from his lesson? Do you think you can learn something from his lesson? I think I also learned a lot from this lesson because sometimes, especially now, we get a bit tired and we get a bit grumpy and we might not be so nice. So let's write that in a sentence. He learned that to humiliate another person is to make him suffer and unnecessarily cruel fate. So for that question, if you see a sentence in the story that would answer it nicely, you can use that sentence or you can write it in your own words. Okay, so you must treat everybody like it's their birthday. Isn't that right? Yes. That's what kindness is. How did his mother's, this is a very thinking question, so put your thinking caps on. How did his mother's stories differ from his father's stories? Whose do you think he preferred? So how was his mommy's stories and his daddy's story is different? And which one do you think he liked more? Let's see. Come on, guys, we're almost there. Okay, so what kind of stories did his mother tell? Do you remember? Here's the paragraph I've put here for you. Have a read at the paragraph and see what you think. So his mother told him stories from the generations. Good. His mom was telling him a beautiful story, praise. Very nice. Faith, very good. His mother was telling stories, you're right. Nice. Okay. So tell me something, grade 5s. How were they different? I want you to think, remember in the beginning you told me that an autobiography was a non-fiction story. Do you remember that? Okay. So tell me now the difference between his mom's and his dad's stories. It's got to do with the genre. It's got to do with whether it's fiction, non-fiction. So whose is whose? Is his mom's story fiction or non-fiction? Is his dad's story fiction or non-fiction? And they're not the same, okay? They're not the same. Okay, we're getting some answers now. Someone's got their thinking caps on. That's what I like to see. Right. This is good. Some are saying non-fiction, mom is fiction. Fiction is not true. Someone asked what fiction was. Okay, so let's have a look here. What did we discover? We discovered that a lot of you are saying the mom was telling fiction stories and the dad was telling non-fiction stories. So let's have a look. Okay. His father's stories were of battles and brave warriors. His mother's stories were closer legends and fables. Most of you actually did mention that, so well done. His father's stories were non-fiction because these battles actually happened. Okay. And his mother's stories were not real and true. And we know that because if you look back at the text, it says there, my mother would charm us with legends and fables. Legends and fables tells you immediately that it is not true. Okay. So whoever didn't see that, his father's stories were of battles and brave warriors. His mother's stories were closer and legends and fables. And we now know the difference between the two. Now, I would like to ask you, if you read this text, this little passage that we read, how did Xhosa children learn things? Who remembers? How did they, when we were reading the story, how did they learn things? I mean, he didn't go to school. So how did he learn things if he didn't go to school? Oh, I got a lot of answers here. Observing, actions from stories. You guys have very good memories to remember what we were talking about earlier. Very good. His father told him. Real life stories. Very, very good. It seems like you, by learning mistakes, very good. From his parents, very good. Very good, guys. No, really, you are doing so well. Now, remember, he couldn't read newspapers at that time because he wasn't in school yet, okay? So this is the piece I got from the story. It's just an idea. Your answer might not be exactly like this. So he learned through imitation, not questions. Their life was shaped by customs and rituals, okay? Men followed the path of the fathers and women led the same lives as their mothers before them. All right, so that's how it was very, very long ago. Right, now, I would like to know from you, how do you learn about things? If you had to compare to how Nelson Mandela learned things all those years ago, how do you learn about things? Do you learn by looking at things, being told things, asking questions about things, or all of them? Give me some examples. Someone said schools and books. Yes. Google. That is true. I can't argue with that one. Online school, awesome. It's good to know you're learning from there. Reading books, observing, asking questions. Well done, guys. It's very true. If you look at things and you observe them, you can learn a lot. If you ask a question and someone tells you something, you can learn a lot. So all of them. Yes? Okay, all of them. Right. Now, believe it or not, teachers can also learn something from you. For example, I'd like to know, what stories do you prefer to listen to? Do you prefer to listen to stories about warriors or about fables? So if you look here, there's quite a few genres over here. We have fantasy book, the Magic Amphora. We have fairy tales. We have true documentary stories about animals, hibernation, and we have The Lion and the Mouse, which is a fable. So, which do you think would be more interesting to read? Warriors? Okay, good. Adventure, animals. So there's quite a variety. Awesome. Very good. Okay, so see, I made them wiggle to keep you entertained. It's not working, is it? Well, you can't say I didn't try. Right, match the words. Okay, so I did the first one for you. These words we did earlier, and I said to you, write them down. Remember, so edible, can be eaten. All right, so what is twine? Yeah, I know, Neo. History is interesting. I agree. Okay, so what is twine? Rope. Good, so it's going to go with rope. All right. So, guys, we do have about 5 minutes left. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you where to go to give me your answers. Okay. So we have, I'm going to ask you to do this activity before I tell you where to go. I want you, when you get this PowerPoint or worksheet that I'm going to put up for you, or this video, if you get to watch it again, because the links, you can still go and see them. I want you to read the story again. Probably make it more interesting than we had to go through it slowly, okay? Because we have to think of everybody. So read the story again, write sentences for me, write sentences in past tense, but I want you to start your sentences with these words. First, when I was 5, then when I was 6, even then I was. Okay, so you can see, in the evenings finally I went. So this is the order of the story. Okay, there is a worksheet.